Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Dragon Ball Nation. Today we're giving you guys another Dragon Ball Super video with a special guest, and he is...
Hey guys, it's Mike here from Laughing Stock Media. How's it going?
Yeah, and today we're going to be talking about something that we've briefly gone over before. We've talked about the manga before. We've talked about the anime. People did these in the past when the manga was coming out. I really never did a video on this, I'm pretty sure. I really even mentioned much of it. I want to talk about the canon of the entire Super series, the anime and the manga. It's very interesting, especially after this most recent chapter, which is chapter 13. If you guys hopefully have been keeping up with Super all together, because that's very important for this video to know everything that's been going on in Super. Manga chapter 13, Goku versus Hit. Goku uses Super Saiyan God again, and there's no anything about Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken that we saw in the anime. And the fights were very different. Now, what happens when the anime and the mangas are developed? For Super, Toriyama makes an outline and then hands it to both Totaro, who does the manga, and Toei, a team of writers and animators and everything, a huge team of people that do their own interpretation into the anime. And we don't really get glimpses of what those outlines that Toriyama make are, so we have to just, you know, assume that both these teams are doing pretty accurate outlines. And for the most part, Michael agreed, the manga and anime have been pretty goddamn similar. Yeah, there's been some differences to set them apart, different interpretations, but all in all, it's been 85-80% similar. Wouldn't you agree, Mike?
Yeah, it's the vast majority of it is very similar. And then we get to this chapter where they decide to make some ridiculous changes which make no sense.
Absolutely. And I say this because people say, well, it's a manga, so it's obviously canon, right? I'm going to talk about the changes in a minute. It's a manga, so it's obviously canon. Something that some people don't know is that Toriyama also, to my knowledge, pretty much every time a manga comes out, he gives it the thumbs up. That doesn't mean that it's 100% accurate to his interpretation. It could be, because we don't know what his interpretation, or his outline, I should say, of the manga is. We don't know what the story outline is. It's very clear to me, though, with this most recent one, that it's either not very descriptive of what the outline is to the writing team at Toei and to Totaro, or one team's wrong. Because we get Super Saiyan God versus Hit, and then he goes Super Saiyan Blue, of course. And we also had Goku Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken in the anime. Those are way too different to have been coming from a very descriptive outline, if that makes sense to the viewers.
Yeah.
It's so vastly different, and to pick out which one's right, you can't mix and match the manga and the anime like you could before. Before, you can maybe mix and match and say, well, we'll take these pieces from the manga and, you know, it shows these feats of a character in the manga, but it doesn't show them in the anime, and then vice versa for another character. Here, it's two different things completely. Absolutely is. And Mike, what are your general thoughts on that right there? Because, you know, people like to think it's a manga, it's canon, but that doesn't really make, it's not really necessarily the case here. Number one, the manga has been stated to be a promotional device for the anime. That's one of the really key things I look at. The fact that it's promotional means it's almost promoting like the real thing, you know, the big thing that you should be looking for.
Yes.
The manga's taking second stage, but aside from that, manga's also a lot more popular in Japan. So it's very strange to look at this. But what is your thoughts? Because we know Toriyama can't. My guess is for the anime, he probably doesn't look at that very much because he can't come in there daily or weekly to look at these episodes, I'm sure. Or he just doesn't want to because he just doesn't, you know, work on stuff at all anymore, really.
Well, yeah, but realistically, I mean, there's nothing from stopping Toriyama from watching all these episodes when they air live in Japan on Fuji TV. I mean, if he's up at that point in time and he's in front of his TV...
Well, at that point, it's too late to change them.
Well, I know, but Toriyama in the past did complain to Toei about the animation quality, so it's obvious that he watches it. But if he only really complained about the animation and a few things here and there, then it's obvious that he has watched the anime at this point in time, and he's possibly still watching it, because nothing to us really insinuates that he doesn't actually watch his own anime. And he's very likely saying, okay, everything is fine. So I think what really happened And I think that's something people need to keep in mind. The perspective of this is that the anime and the manga are both interpretations of the outline and the notes that Toriyama gave to Toei and Toyotaro.
Right, which we don't know what those look like.
No, but it's probably the case that the notes are not very descriptive. Like, there will be certain points here and there that specifics happen, but I don't think that Toriyama is anywhere near as descriptive as he says. So, like, with the Frieza soldiers and Resurrection F, from what I've heard, his notes were not very specific about Resurrection F in the fights, and so when it came to, like, saying, I want this gigantic battle, he basically just said, the Z fighters will fight against, 1,000 soldiers. I mean, that's, like, it's stuff like that. So, when it came to this, one of the things I think might have happened is Toriyama sent both Toyotaro and the anime creators at Toei his notes, and it said, Goku will be 10 times stronger than Vegeta during his fight against Hit compared to where Vegeta was against Hit. There will be stamina issues with Super Saiyan Blue. Goku will become red at some point, and he will end the fight by jumping out of the ring, and obviously Hit will have the Toki Tobashi, stuff like that. Like, little things that we saw in both of them, Toriyama probably told them, but everything else was completely left up to interpretation. It's not like Toriyama probably said that, Hit will do all these different techniques throughout the fight, and, we'll see the Toki Tobashi look this way in the anime, blah, blah, blah. It's probably that he gave really small specifics, like Hit powers up at one point, which he did in the anime and in the manga.
Right, and again, it's not like Toriyama, we don't know if Toriyama looks at the manga and okays it because it's accurate to what he wanted, or what he wanted out of the property, or the entertainment in general. He might just be giving it a thumbs up, and he's like, yeah, this is cool, I like where this is going. It doesn't mean he doesn't like the anime, because like Mike said, all he really said about the anime was that the animation was not very good. He didn't say anything about the story. It's very confusing, and it goes back to people think that just because it's a manga, it has to be the #1 canon.
It's the opposite in this case, honestly, because the fact that that's
the way I feel.
The anime is really, in this case, the end-all, be-all, or the be-all, end-all, because the manga, again, is meant to promote it. The anime
is
a big
thing.
Airing far more often, and it's not compressed like the manga is. And ultimately, the anime is what the vast majority of people around the world are going to see. We don't even know if we're ever going to get an English version of the Super manga in America. I'm sure we will eventually, but we don't even know about the Super dub.
Well, Viz translated the first chapter, but we don't know if we're going to get more.
Yeah.
I haven't looked into that, to be quite frank, too much.
So ultimately, I think it comes down to that. Like, they're different purposes. Toriyama didn't start with the manga first and then make the animes. He started with the movies, and then he decided that he wanted to do a lengthier series version, or, Toei said, let's do this, and Toriyama said that he thought it would have been better in the series format to, he was disappointed in some ways how the story came out in the movies. He said, ultimately, I feel that all this means that the anime makes more sense to be the real final canon in all of this, and the thing that really matters the most. Because unlike the original, where he started off with the anime with the manga is the first thing, and then the anime comes as a result of it, it's completely different here. The manga is behind the anime. It comes out after the anime, so it's obviously not based on the manga. It's all based on Toriyama's notes. So simply because he checks it, or simply because, this or that, doesn't make it canon. George Lucas used to check all of the all the extended universe stuff, but none of that's canon now that Disney's in charge, and he made it appear that he wanted certain extended universe EU books to only really be a part of, a lesser canon, not the true full canon. So even with George Lucas and Star Wars, which again is a very similar situation in this case, it's very different. It's not the books and the manga are not the be-all, end-all.
Well, honestly, I feel like almost Toriyama really doesn't even care about the canon too much, otherwise he would have been a lot more involved with all of this shit. And we don't even know what the hell was going on with the Dragon Ball Super Resurrection F arc. Was there an outline being done there? Because I think I remember Toriyama saying he wanted changes to be made, but I'm just not really sure if he applied them there, really. It's very strange to me. I think at the end of the day, it's just what I look at as Toyotaro.
Yes.
The guy who made AF. I hate Dragon Ball AF. That doesn't mean I'm going to discount his opinion on things. But if you're taking his opinion or interpretation of the outline that Toriyama makes, he's making it into his own thing. One person's interpretation against an entire team of writers and animators and everyone down at Toei. Yes, Toei worked on GT, but that was 20 years ago. I, quite frankly, feel more comfortable with that interpretation being discussed with multiple people than one guy's interpretation. That's just my feelings. I just feel more comfortable with that.
Ultimately, Toyotaro is really good at replicating the Toriyama style in the manga.
He's a great animator. Fantastic.
He's very good at doing the illustrations, but ultimately, that doesn't mean that he's the best like story writer, or he's ultimately going to capture Toriyama's work as well, because really, I know that a lot of people want to try and say that the manga is better overall, but for this past arc,
its moments.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely had some really cool elements and moments, like the fight with Beerus and Champa, but ultimately, at the end of the day, I would say the anime is far better, like, so far, like, than the manga has been. Because the manga has been far
right
too...
there with you.
Yeah, the manga has been far too rushed. It's been far too condensed. He hasn't had enough time to let things breathe, so many of the fights in the Universe 6 tournament arc were not very good, like in the manga, comparatively. Like, Vegeta versus Megetta. What was that? Vegeta just hits him and he falls into the ring. And then they want to tell us that the manga is so much better than the anime for reasons. I'm sorry, but I'm taking the anime over the manga right now, and you'll probably hear a little bit more about that in depth when I do my video, which was better.
And I just I just want to say though,
shameless plug.
It's not that it's just that we think the anime is better. I just feel like the way that, since that manga's a promotion, there's more people working on the anime. I just feel like I trust that the anime to be the way the story should be going. That's just what I feel. It's not that it's better. If it was worse, if it wasn't as good as the manga, I'd still feel that way because it's just a bigger team of people. And we got this huge split right here with this recent chapter. I don't understand how this happened. Not to mention, this chapter was probably being developed after the Goku vs. Hit fight.
Yeah.
It was like, what, 7-8 episodes ago? It's very, very confusing. But at the end of the day, me and Mike have given our thoughts. We like the anime's interpretation of this series. Is it the canon? We quite frankly don't know. But that's what we're feeling. We're listening to that. What do you guys think is the true canon? Do you think that there is none? Do you think that you have to look at both? What do you feel in the comment section down below? Take what we said with, whatever ounce of thought you want to give it. I know there's plenty of people that probably put tons of comments before watching the video, and that's to be expected. But share your thoughts down below. Other than that, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Check out Mike's channel for more Dragon Ball stuff. So check out his channel, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Share your thoughts down below, and I'll catch you later.
See ya.